Derek Young here with Matt Hall for K-StateOnline after K-State falls 31-10 to number 18 Mississippi State here in Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Derek, as much as anything else, it felt like a talent mismatch on the field today.
Yeah, it's probably one that I felt that was larger than anything we saw a year ago, so that's got to be a bit more troubling that it seems like the talent's getting a little bit wider for Kansas State to kind of battle through. And you feel like you're that much less talented than the opposition, that really puts that much pressure on your coaching staff to outcoach the other team, and it just wasn't enough.
Really at no point in the second half was K-State truly in this game. Had a drive at the start of the second half when Alex Barnes got it going, but they couldn't finish it as they couldn't many drives throughout the game. Alex Barnes talked about that after the game in the Veneer Football Complex and also said he didn't blame the offensive line for a lack of physicality for the offensive struggles.
Yeah, we were feeling pretty good, moving the ball, getting downfield, doing what we had expected to do coming into the game. And we got to be more consistent with stuff like that. That can't be every now and then kind of thing. We got to take that into every single drive and make it happen throughout the entire drive. And, we can't just get stuffed on second and medium and have to throw the ball. We got to be able to grind them out physically.
Did you feel like they were more physical than you guys were, maybe at the point of attack even a little bit, and you were just, for whatever reason, a little bit lacking in that department as a team today?
No, I don't think they were more physical than us. I think that, it's an execution thing. We missed on a lot of stuff, and whether it's picking up some of the stunts that they were doing or all that sort of thing. But, they weren't more physical than us. I don't think that's true.
As Barnes said, no real consistency for the offense today. We talked about talent first, and that was the big problem. But outside of that, what problems did you see on that side of the ball for K-State?
They're just one-dimensional right now. There's no threat of a passing game, so they can load up against the running game of Kansas State, which is what they want their bread and butter to be. But it's not effective because there's not a passing game to kind of have a constraint or play off of. So one-dimensional, and that one dimension is not really working either.
The one big play for the offense was a really nice-looking 23-yard touchdown pass from Skylar Thompson to Dalton Schoen. That play was set up by the interception from Wyatt Hubert, who spoke about that after the game.
That I don't think that was all me. That was the overall defense as a whole. I think it was Elijah Walker got that quarterback pressure, which caused him to throw a bad pass, and I was just at the right spot at the right time. It was awesome. I'm glad I was able to get some juice for the team, and the offense punched in like a few plays right after that. So I'm just glad I could help out.
Defensively, K-State, I think, hung around for a while, but the running game, of course, was a huge problem. Nick Fitzgerald well over 100 yards, Kylan Hill over 200 yards. Just no answers for K-State for that running game from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I don't think the defensive front really handled the line of scrimmage like they did last week against South Dakota. Obviously, last week the offensive line didn't hold the line of scrimmage. I think this week it was probably both sides of the ball in that way. They kind of got beat up in the trenches on both sides. And the linebackers kind of vacating that area. I think Mississippi State took advantage. And that's why you saw the draw play, was really effective. And the defensive tackles just weren't there or didn't hold their ground to, take it down.
In some ways, it really is worst case scenario for K-State 2 weeks in. Week one, they had to survive against South Dakota, then today got handled by Mississippi State. Do these two games change your thoughts for the rest of the season going forward? Not necessarily a prediction right now, but what needs to get fixed and is it fixable?
Yeah, I have a lot more concerns than I did before the season for sure. And I think my biggest problem is that I feel like the talent gap is getting wider between Kansas State and a lot of its opponents. And also because there's just not one thing to fix. Then there's plenty of things to fix. It seems like they have issues and leaks everywhere. And you have to wonder what can they hang their hat on really after these two games, because some of the good things we saw a week ago did not show up again today.
No, all of that said, both Reggie Walker and Wyatt Hubert spoke after the game about the need for a great week of practice before K-State takes on Texas San Antonio next week.
I mean, that all comes to practice. You practice how you play. We practice good, play good. The spirit's always there. So I feel like just this week of practice has got to be really critical in how we perform.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. They're a good football team, and we got bigger dogs ahead, and it sucks. But like I said, we just got to go out there. We got to grind. We got to get better, and we got to have a chip on our shoulder, especially having one loss so early in the season. And we just got to go out there and, like I said, correct our mistakes, not forget about them, and just learn what we did wrong, how to correct that, and go out there and be disciplined, do what we're expected to do.
So again, K-State at 1-1 will take on Texas San Antonio next Saturday from Bill Snyder Family Stadium. A long ways away from that, of course, the most overmatched opponent K-State will probably play all year. What do you need to see from this group to feel a little better about K-State going forward into Big 12 play?
just better play in general, and I think this is a unit that probably could, benefit from a growing sense of confidence that they haven't been able to glean from either the previous 2 games. So week 3, I think that is a game where you kind of want to see Kansas State hopefully build a 20, 30-point lead, because at this point I wonder whether confidence is just a big need at this point.
For Derek Young, Chris Nelson, Grant Flanders behind the camera, and myself, that's all for K-State Online from K-State's 31-10 loss to Mississippi State. We'll see you next week after K-State takes on Texas San Antonio.